Action. Call Lamar's City Council meeting to order, Tuesday, September 2nd, 12 p.m. Could we please join me in pledge allegiance to the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Motion to approve that. No, I can't approve it yet. We're not here yet.
You gotta be here.
Okay, do we have roll call, Bev?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yep.
Rexroth?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Perky?
Yes.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion been made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to welcome everybody in the chamber this afternoon, and Bennett from the Lamar's Daily Signal, and particularly you people that are watching over television at home to join our meeting. First thing we got is a hearing, and it's a request to vacate right away at it's August 19th, 2014 meeting. The council set this as a date and time to hear a public comment regarding a proposal to vacate a portion of the 2nd Avenue Southwest right-of-way and convey to the adjoining property owners of 134 2nd Avenue Southwest, namely Dwayne and Julie Vanderplas. At this time, I'm going to open the hearing and ask for any written or oral objections or comments to this proposal. I will once again ask if there's any written or oral objections or comments to this particular proposal. If not, the hearing will be closed at this time. The staff is recommending that the property be sold to the Vanderplots at a price of $1 per square foot, which is $158, and all costs associated with the transfer of the property. The city has incurred a cost of about $275 for a survey and plat of the property, and a $7 recording fee from Al Fagan Land Surveying PC. This time, council, if there are no questions, I would...
Motion adopting resolution 1430 vacating right of way to convey to Dwayne and Julie Vanderplats for
$440?
400, no.
Yeah.
Is that what it came to?
Yeah.
For costs?
Maybe for approximately.
It'll be also
For approximate
for
cost.
Joe to prepare the deed.
Okay, so
Deed
for
in.
closing costs. Can we just put it that way?
What was the amount?
All transfer costs.
All transfer costs? All transfer costs.
Plus the
Let's-
$1 per foot.
Well, that'd be part of the transfer costs. All transfer costs.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, adopting the resolution number 14-30, vacating the right-of-way and conveying to Dwayne and Julie Vanderplas, and for all the transfer costs. Can we have a roll call on that, Beth?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Perky?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Rexroth?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, folks. You betcha. At this time, we're going to open it up for general discussion. Does anybody have any good things to say or comments about the city or anything that's bothering anybody? Now's the time to do it. We do ask in our general discussion for them to step up to the podium and state their name and address. The council cannot make any decisions on it, but they're always certainly willing to listen to the comments that you do have. Having none today, we'll move on. Thumbs up or word?
Nothing.
John?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Delana?
Pass.
Ricks?
Pass. I'll pass. Thank you.
I do have one. I gotta thank our bluegrass country western people for coming to Lamar's, and thank the fairgrounds for the fair board for working with them. It's been a real interesting 10 days out there, and these people just love Lamar's, and you can't believe the comments that I hear, how clean the town is and how friendly people are, and they do patronize our people. They know right where Archie's is at, and Four Brothers, and the Fairway, and you name it, they just go on and on. So I think it's a good area that, or a good thing that we can bring these people to town once a year, because in the past, and I think it broke that record this year the way it looks, but in the past, over the 10 days that they're here, they'll bring in between 20 and 22,000 people, so I think that's a good move. Okay, moving on to the consent items. All items listed under the consent agenda will be acted on by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. Today, we've got three. Approval of the August 19th, 2014 regular meeting minutes. Number two is a list of the bills for period ending 8/31/14. And number three is a renewal of our liquor license and outdoor service arena, which is namely the Ironsides. Is there any questions on any of these that your councils have, members?
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 3.
Second.
Motion been made to approve the items 1 through 3. All those, motion been made and second to approve the items, consent items 1 through 3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on to the action items. The first one is a request for rezoning Crescent Ridge. At its August 19th, 2014 meeting, the council held a public hearing regarding the proposed zoning change of Crescent Ridge addition from B2, which is general business, to R Rural District or R1 and R1 Residential District, and approved the first reading of the ordinance rezoning the property. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the zoning change at its July 29th, 2014 special meeting. This is the second one, so
Motion approving the second reading of ordinance number 924, amending zoning districts.
Second.
motion made in second, approving the second reading of the ordinance number 924, amending zoning districts. Could we have a roll call on that, Bev?
Knapp?
Yep.
Gerke?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Marcinko?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll take a chance. Motion waiving the third reading of ordinance number 924, amending zoning districts.
Second.
Motion been made and second, amending the third district, amending zoning districts at the third reading. Roll call on that, Bev?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Gerke?
Yes.
Marcinko?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Motion adopting ordinance number 924, amending zoning districts on its second reading.
Second.
Motion made and second, adopting ordinance number 924, amending zoning districts on its second reading. Roll call, Bev?
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Gerke?
Yes.
Marcinko?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Ordinance on the speed limits. You know what? I don't have that sheet.
Here.
Oh, I know it.
Short.
Attached is an ordinance establishing the speed limits. The council approved a second reading at their August 19th, 2014 meeting.
I've had 7 comments in person. 2 find me when I'm walking around on the streets or whatever, or out the golf course. I've had 4 in favor of the reduced speed limits. I've had 2 that like the speed limit faster, and I've had 1 that wants turning lanes. And just thought I'd report that.
Okay?
Yeah, I guess remind the public also, Your Honor, that we do have, or will have, Scott, 3 studies by the state of Iowa regarding what to look at as far as potential final solutions.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments? I entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion approving the third reading of ordinance number 922, amending speed limits.
Second.
Motion made and second, approving the third reading of the ordinance 922, amending speed limits. Could we have a roll call, Bev?
Goodchild?
Yes.
Gerke?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Marcinko?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion adopting ordinance number 922, amending speed limits on its third reading.
Second to the motion.
Motion made and second, adopting the ordinance number 922, amending the speed limits on its third reading. Roll call, please, Bev.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Gerke?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Marcinko?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion carried. I do want to comment one thing that it's been brought to my attention several times, that this is just another speed trap. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't set this up to be a speed trap to our city. We set it up for the basis of primarily and for the public safety part of what's happened out there. And that's what's caused the conversations to begin with. And we're just trying to follow through and do what's right for the safety of our town, so.
And again, Scott, remind city staff that when we change those speed limit signs, put the red flags on them just to give extra alert that what the speed limit is.
Right.
Yes, we will.
Okay?
Okay, moving on, discussion, John?
Nothing.
Clark?
Nothing.
Deanna?
Just wanted to bring up, we've talked about it before, and I know this is probably not the prime time to do it, but if we could get the arrows repainted and maybe consider putting up turn signals at 12th and Business 75, or the turn signs, because people get confused with that right-hand lane as you come from Walmart towards Hy-Vee being two right turns at different angles, and then they're always slipping in front of cars that are going straight. So I believe that we had set it so that the left-hand lane is supposed to be left-hand turn and straight ahead, and the right is either for a right-hand turn south onto Business 75 or a right-hand turn onto Lincoln,
After the tracks.
right? Yeah, and it needs to be repainted, but especially for those two rights, if we could put up a sign on the pole, that would be great. I don't know if we can do one for the left-hand lane, because then it would block the railroad crossing lights. So if you could kind of take a look at that, just,
Right in front of it.
Will do.
yeah, because I was trying to figure out a place to put it, and it'd be right in front of the lights.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Rex?
I got a couple items
Okay.
this time. Evidently, the newspaper and the radio are getting a good job of getting out our information, because these are all very pertinent items. So this person is worried about kids on 12th Street because we don't have the sidewalks. Of course, some people like to do everything. He'd like sidewalks, he wants flashing yellow lights, possibly stop signs. I told him that I don't do stop signs, so and I told a couple others after this the same thing, but the flashing yellow may be something we look at like where it is at the pool, but I don't know if that's really needed right there. It's just that that's a bad intersection because we've got people pulling both directions off of the school and also walking across.
Rex, are you talking at Third Avenue West?
The corner of the
Stadium
football
Drive?
field and, well, either Stadium Drive or the other corner of the football field too.
12th Street.
That is
It's on
12th and 4th, 3rd.
Third.
12th and 3rd.
Right.
Where you go,
You're primarily talking at 12th and Third?
this person wanted them at Stadium too, but I think Stadium is less of an issue when I drove it the number of times than 3rd is. 3rd is an issue, but there's two reasons it's an issue. Right now, people walk for this month and they walk for the last month of the year. The other 6 months, they ride with somebody to school. The second time of year that is the issue is when we just get a little bit of snow because you can't get up 3rd. So then it becomes very icy and slick as you're trying to get up to get onto 12th. I believe that's, if I remember right. And then where 3rd comes out to 12th, isn't that just a little bit of an incline there? And then the kids take a running start at it, sometimes back a little bit from the edge, and they can't see the cars coming over, east to west.
And then the 12th Street sidewalks you're talking about are the two locations?
The two locations, but he's even thinking the school should put some on the other side of the football field, and I said, I don't think that's gonna provide any safety measure. Because I've been up there on the football side of 12th, and there is not, I mean, there's enough room for a sidewalk attached to the street, but that's not gonna provide safety. I think I'd rather have them go around Stadium Drive, because we already got that in place.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the sidewalk that was lacking from 4th Avenue West to one property short of
Right.
6th Avenue West. So just to be clear,
I
that's
think
what
those,
we're talking
I
about.
think those are the ones we still need to focus on.
Okay, and then also, I think Delana, I think you brought up next to Fire Station 2,
Right,
and really starting at Second Avenue East, working down to Central.
Yeah.
But I can also tell you, and it's one of my further comments, is I've walked, probably the 60 blocks in downtown the last month and a half at different times, in different directions, in different ways. And there's at least 3 blocks that have a property that has no sidewalk, that has just dust, because the gravel is all the way to dust now. And it's right next to the
Where are
school.
those locations?
And it's right next to the block away from the Clark School.
Well, there's some though, Rex, if the sidewalks don't line up, they don't put the approach, is that correct? I know that happened on Fourth Avenue. There are some spots where we didn't put the approach to the curb because it didn't match up with the one across the street.
And I'm not,
That's true.
and I'm not singling out those properties today. I'm just saying, we need to be consistent. If there's places where there's a sidewalk, and then the next one has ruts and everything because the gravel's all broken away, and the next one has dust, I'll call it, those issues are just as bad as the ones on 12s of not having a sidewalk at all. So, I can give you more specifics of the properties, but it's within, both of the ones that have very little sidewalk are within a block or 2 blocks of Clark down here. So it's not, it's an ongoing problem. Sioux Center, Orange City, many places in Minnesota I've been in the last month or so, don't have no sidewalks. They don't even want sidewalks, so, because there is such a maintenance issue. So I'm not sure that that's the answer. I'm just going through these guys on, Ms. Bennett and his folks have put together so many articles that I'm starting to get emails now, and I'm starting to get people to stop me on the street, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Rex, I would really like to consider flashing yellow on 12th there. I mean, it really gives the driver an alert.
I was
that
thinking,
there's something ahead.
but on the flashing yellow, if that's what we're going to consider, does it have to be on flashing yellow all 12 months,
When
all
school's not in
364? Or could we turn it on just, for the 9 months or whatever? And I'm just asking because I don't know the code. But can we look into that and maybe get back to us on that, on what we can do?
Sure.
Because I don't think, we had it for a while that I was sitting here where we moved stop signs out at various times of the day and rolled them back and rolled them on, and that doesn't
Yeah,
work.
that would be good if we could shut them off somehow. during
If
the
we could shut them off, it's, I just,
If you recall, 6 years ago, that same subject came up about this Third Avenue.
Safe paths to school or something.
And we even talked about the yellow flashing light
moving it.
up at the pool, just moving that down to Third Avenue because there's so much more traffic down there.
That may be one where you put, this one where you put timers on, so it's
Well.
off part of the day, on part of the day.
I think that's a reasonable thing to look at.
I do know that in other towns like Worthington, Laverne comes to mind. You go through there and there's a lime yellow warning light that fines are doubled during school hours.
Yeah.
With no flashing lights. Your fine's double. I don't know if that type of sign without a flashing light would, cure some of that.
I think that one is worth investigating. I think we've already addressed the sidewalks as much as we can out of that email. Email number 2 says, we got people out in this North Greenview edition, which sometimes we're residents of out there, that are going about 45 miles an hour on PGA Drive, which is true, because it's the longest, straightest street we have in town that's residential, I believe. I could be wrong.
It's not the main.
So you want what, speed bumps?
No, well, that was somebody asked that question,
They
speed bumps.
brought that up to me too.
And I said, I'm not putting speed bumps. Then he wanted a stop sign. I said, I'm not putting a stop sign. And then I said, what about, we have some child at play signs, or children at play signs, the little yellow signs that just say children at play. And I think we have those in a few neighborhoods. I'm not sure how many. I don't even know if that's really legal. If the speed is getting lesser out in that neighborhood as more houses get built, and I think it will continue to happen. As there's more houses built, therefore there's less chance of speeding because there's more activity. But child at play was my idea. I don't know if that'll work or not, but it's just something to, because even, I mean, Stu's had even some people out there sitting at various times, and, yeah, that slows it down for about 10 minutes, and within the next day. And he even admits, and he's an individual with kids, he even admits he's going 45 sometimes, because it's just a straight shot. You can see forever, so.
I do want to clear the air on that particular subject. I live out there, and I'm not speeding.
We know that.
You're probably the only one.
We know that.
Okay, then we'll go to the chamber. We'll go downtown parking. Downtown parking, we've had this issue, and we've done it 6 different ways in my 20-odd years. And right now, again, we're having businesses that want to either park in front of their business or have tenants that want to park in front of the business too on Central. It seems rather absurd that we should even have to deal with anything, but that's what we're doing. And we don't have one, we probably got 3 or 4 from my count that are in front of those businesses. And the chamber tried to address it, and it looks like they're still there in front of their businesses this morning. The main area, one of the areas in question is down by a barber shop and where Jim's Burger used to be, is that we have the handicapped one on the side of that building, so the people then park in front, which is in front of whether it's Habitué or the law office or the grocery store. They're always in front of that parking. I don't want to regulate it. I don't want to negotiate it. But I was looking at that handicapped one that's on the corner there where all the rest of the residents park in front of Jim's Burger. If we move the handicapped one around to Central, we would maybe get those people easier access to the handicapped one, and then these people could park on the street between the eye doctor and Jim's Burger. Both of them, I think both spots are pretty large. I also think that's probably why one other person wants to park there all the time, because their car doesn't get hit and because it's a large spot. But they park there all day on Central, and that's probably not in the best interest of the residents. Whether it becomes an issue for the tenants and the businesses and stuff like that, it's no different than right now. We've got a lot of parking distractions down on the post office alley. So we got people in front of everybody's office down there. But, you know, we're getting along, and we understand that the project is basically doubled in scope since we started, because all of a sudden we had a telephone pole coming down, we had an electric pole coming down, and we had to replace those. And then we didn't have a sewer system, so we had to replace that. So bear with us, folks. They're still working. They're working all the time. They're working. They started jackhammering again about an hour before I came over to the meeting. So that one's working. It's just that some of these, to me, appear to be, should be something that we should be able to do by just talking to people, but for some reason, it seems to have to get escalated to this. And I've had these for, a couple of these for a while, but obviously last meeting being 3 hours wasn't the appropriate time to talk about it, so I just want to talk about it today.
I want to address that one you're talking about. I'm well aware of it. I've had the opportunity, the gentleman that wrote the letter, and we circulated it throughout the council, visited with me before he wrote the letter, and I have been surveying that particular situation for the last 2 weeks. And the individual that you're talking about parking there is true. I thought, I tried to get the number and was going to visit with her politely between the two of them, and I have not been able to secure her telephone number. I thought, well, the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. parking, our police force has got a good right to maybe handle it that way. I checked that out. They did. She's been fined twice and paid the fines. I'm to the end of the rope. It's not to handle that one. And so I I try to answer every complaint that comes in, and so I wrote the letter back.
No, and I'm not trying
To this gentleman, and I said that,
to say we're.
I have no idea. Here's what we've done. We've all tried, and
Well, I just thought it was important for us to be
You
responsive
bet.
and on TV or whatever, just to say that
Yeah.
we're not forgetting it.
No.
But on the same token, I think we had it, I know, with down by Mike Rulin's office and the beauty college, whether we put the handicap one on Central or we put it around the corner, and which was the better place for the handicap one to belong. And I've noticed when I've been driving by there too, the handicap one is unoccupied between the barber shop and the optometrist on that corner. But the one on Central is always occupied. But I'm not just defending her or him,
No,
because the
I-
fact is, I drove the rest of Central, and I've got 4 other business owners that are smack dab in front of their business too. And I just don't understand why they'd want to do that, but I just brought it up.
I think your idea possibly of dealing with that handicap
Just
situation.
flip-flopping it. I'm not saying get rid of the handicap,
might
but
help.
just flip-flopping it, but maybe it would just move the problem down the street. We've had that happen before, but it's something to look at. I
Yeah.
think the police possibly should look at it if they want to. It was supposedly, one of these was written to the Public Safety Committee, which that individual wasn't sure who the members of, but they thought I was.
You've been busy lately, haven't you?
Well, like I said, I've been fortunate lately that one of the things that we did was kind of walk around our church area downtown and around the school area downtown, and just to see what the issues were. And I hadn't walked in some of those areas. In fact, some of the people came out and said they didn't know that I had ever walked in that area, and they might be true. But when I walk it now, they come out and they grab me or yell at me and,
Throw eggs at you.
well, I think if these are the biggest comments we have of the things that we do,
Right.
it's pretty impressive,
Well, and
right? I mean, if that's the biggest issues we got, is just trying to figure out how to deal with some of these issues, and they really should be dealt with administratively. They shouldn't be at a council level. But on the same token, like you said, you've been trying to deal with it with the people, and you can't even get to the end person sometimes. So,
The key is, we're not leaving these lay. We are addressing
yeah, we're trying to figure out what to
and
do.
communicating. That's the thing.
I just thought that was,
Sometimes they may not like
today,
what they hear, but,
today was an appropriate time
Yeah.
to take maybe 10 minutes to go through some of those items, okay?
okay, is that it?
That's it.
I yield my time. Nothing today, thank you.
Nothing, okay. Scott?
I gave a pretty lengthy update, so all I'm going to do is yield to Greg Sant to give you an official update of the wastewater treatment plant.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, everybody. Scott asked that I give you an update of the status of the wastewater treatment plant project. The industrial wastewater treatment plant was started up in July. The startup went very smoothly. Ron and the guys of the city's old wastewater plant provided seed sludge. It's a biological process, so it takes a while for the system to grow into the process. And over a period of about 3 to 4 weeks, the plant was up to operating at its design capacity. We had very few problems with the process during startup. Typically, we'd have a problem with foaming or with poor sludge settleability, but by using the city's seed sludge here, it came off without a hitch. Plant is meeting discharge limits coming out of the plant. Discharge limits are about 30 milligrams per liter suspended solids, and they've been running less than 10 milligrams per liter. The plant's been operated up to its design capacity and performed well. There's some continuing work going on with punch list items and getting the project closed out, and that'll continue for another 4 to 6 weeks probably. Probably the biggest thing working on punch list items right now is fine-tuning the control systems, the automatic control systems. The lift stations are working fine. Force mains are working fine. No problems to report, I guess.
Is
Any
it
questions?
a couple more months until it's kind of like running so we don't have to deal with it every week, or Ron have to deal with it every week? Or does it take 6 months to get it to where it's kind of seamless operations?
Well, I'd say it's, when you say seamless operation, it's operating automatically right now. It's fine tuning it to optimize the operation.
Okay.
And there will be an ongoing requirement, of course, for an operator to look at it. It doesn't run
Right.
unattended.
Right, so you still need the time to do it and to adjust the controls, but what you're saying is we might adjust controls on ending.
Yeah, it'll
Through
be a
the
continuous process, and every plant is different. The operators get accustomed to it, and they'll find their own way of operating it. They learn the plant, and the operators grow into the plant, just like the bacteria grow into the plant.
So would Ron give us the same 9 out of 10 evaluation at the present time?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to
Greg,
confirm.
we appreciate the work Bolton and Mink did on this and working with the city, and timing was a key issue, and I think we made it.
Yeah, and I commend the city and industries working together on this project. As you know, this isn't always the case when cities and industries work cooperatively on a project like this, and this has been a very good project. It's been developed over the last probably 6 years, and the city's provided the infrastructure that the industries need to be successful and drive ahead.
Thank you.
The official completion date of everything is this month on the 27th.
That's that 500 day or 500s,
Yes.
because there was 2 completion dates, right? There was the
Yeah.
close one and the complete
The
one.
primary one was 365 days, and then for everything to be complete, including the punch list that Greg is talking about, is, I think it was 545 days, which equals September 27th. So we're now in that month.
Okay.
So that's good news.
We do, along that line, Greg, we want the public to know, in the next 2 weeks, you're going to be hearing and seeing and notified of, we are having an open house for the public out there on September 18th. And we will be running from 3 to 7 that evening. And it's going to be tours. There'll be tours going through, so people can see exactly what happens to the end result out there and how it's processed. And so keep that in mind, and we're going to be working with Bennett, and we're going to be working with Dennis over at Clem on keeping people informed as to the date, time, and when it's going to be. Thanks, Greg. Scott, do you have anything else?
That's all I have.
That's all you have.
Do you have the dates for the fall cleanup, just so we can remind, is that the 3rd weekend? I was just trying to find it
Bill's
real
not
quick,
here
because
today.
Bill's not here.
Yeah, he would.
Because aren't they
I thought
open?
he was saying that was like the week of the 16th or,
Yeah, like about,
Yeah.
it's usually Wednesday through Saturday, right?
It has to be up to third
It was-
Saturday.
Because he said they were open anyway.
They were open that Saturday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's the 15th through the 20th.
Is that going to be on the website, if people want to check?
I believe it's already on there.
dates?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's on there.
Great.
When will the paint disposal be up and running? Household paint and chemical disposal.
Oh, the
I know it's-
hazardous waste.
It's in Tide, and we talked about that in the past, and
They're
I,
building an
with,
open house this month too.
yeah, they're doing it open, I didn't know if that was all coinciding, but once in a while, I still get homeowners when we're moving, you know, people leave paint cans and varnish cans and whatnot, and we talked about that, so.
Well, the Plymouth County Solid Waste Agency built an RCC, that's a resource recovery center. And so that's been built physically for quite some time, and Mark Kunkel and his staff have been equipping it and getting all the fine tuning done. When the Plymouth County Solid Waste Agency pulled away from the Cherokee County Solid Waste Agency and started going to Jackson, Nebraska, an organization called the PCB Board was dissolved, and PCB was the initials for Plymouth, Cherokee, and Buena Vista. Anyway, that group operated a household hazardous collection mobile entity for, I forget the number of years, but let's call it 15 years. And when the relationship dissolved, then that PCB board dissolved. And so that's what necessitated Plymouth County to have to build their own. Well, it's built, and the equipment that was needed has been purchased, and they are gonna have an open house on the 17th of this month, the day before the wastewater open house. So you can go out and take a look at that facility. I think they're gonna have a meal out there that evening.
They are.
I think it runs from 4 to 7 on that Wednesday, the 17th. And all of you, please try to go out and take a look. That will then answer your question, Clark. As they get up and things going on a schedule, they will have a mobile unit that goes to the 10 cities within Plymouth County. And rural's always invited to the various nearby city. And there will be a site that you can take your paint cans and anything else that fits the hazardous material category. So that's herbicide, pesticide, fertilizer, PCBs, mercury, and all the rest. Anything that's got that hazardous component to it, we will take it at the Plymouth County site in the RCC, and the staff that's manning the landfill site will man that on a daily basis. So it'll be open 5 days a week plus the 2 Saturdays. And so nobody should have to kind of store and hang on to that stuff. You can bring it out and place it right there and get rid of it.
Yeah, because before it was appointment only, so that's good, because before it was appointment only, like twice a year. So that'd be
Yeah,
definite
and that's
improvement.
because it was handling
Yep.
three counties.
Yep.
This one is purely Plymouth County.
Cool. Great.
Answer your question, Clark?
Yep.
Any other questions from anybody? If not, this will be the end of our council meeting, and we will be going into a closed session.